Oh, yes. In fact, I mean, today's cars are, I would hope, safer than they've ever been. But, you know, a lot of those safety features are sometimes difficult, I would imagine, especially for older folks to learn, because they've been driving the older cars for so many years, and now all of a sudden here's this new technology and all this safety stuff and things that beep and blink and everything else that I would imagine would be kind of difficult. But at a car fit event, all of that is explained in a very simple form, so that they can go back and say, hey, wow, or maybe learn something about their car they didn't even know that it had.
Education is the key, and it really does go in hand in what people are learning in their defensive driving courses. But we see individuals in their own vehicle, so you're not just hearing it, but we're going through the 12-point checklist with individuals in their own car, and educating them on how to make the adjustments so they get the safest fit. We're not making any adjustments to a vehicle that they don't want. But that way, if you bring your car into for service, or a family member drives your car and they change the features, they change the adjustments, you can then know how to put them back so you have a good fit.
Exactly, that's right. Yes, very important. I know, and I shouldn't confess this, but because I guess maybe I'm showing my age, but something beeped on my car the other day, and I didn't know what it was, and I had to look it up, and I'm like, oh, it's a safety feature. It's something I didn't know I had, and now I'm glad I have it, and I'm glad I know what it is. But you know, had I come to Car Fit, I'm sure somebody would have showed me that.
Absolutely, because how many times do you buy a new car and you're not going over every feature with the salesperson?
That's right.
And most people, when you get home, are not going through the manual to find out what all these features and adjustments.
No, they don't. You're right. And plus, you know, when you get a new car, I mean, it can be overwhelming. You know, the salesperson or whomever, representative, will go through things with you, but they go through everything, and they go through usually rather quickly, and it can be overwhelming. And oh my gosh, what was that? I can't remember this. I can't remember that. So I can certainly understand that. Well, let's go on to the next question that I have for you. What changes occur with aging? We were just talking a little bit about getting older and some of the things that can happen. What changes occur with aging that can affect driving specifically?
First and foremost is vision. There's a lot of conditions that you have an increased likelihood of having as you age, such as cataracts, glaucoma, macular degeneration. But also just normal aging makes the eyes require more light to see. Some of the things such as decreased depth perception, decreased peripheral vision can also make it more difficult. So it's really critical to make sure that display lights are adjusted properly, that mirrors are adjusted properly to help accommodate for some of those vision changes. Some of the physical changes that can occur, of course, particularly with women, we start to get shorter. And that starts happening quite early in life. I've already started to notice some.
Stop. You have not. I don't believe it.
Where I'm getting just a little bit shorter. And particularly when you have maybe a couple, a husband and wife driving, and the husband might be 6 foot and the wife is significantly smaller, and they have one car, it makes those fit challenges more difficult. But also you can have decreased flexibility in the joints, which makes it tough to turn the head, raise the arms, grip the steering wheel, and slower reaction times, decreased muscle strength. And a lot of these you can help make adjustments for with regular exercise programs.
I can see that.
Accommodations with the car. And then the other area that is sometimes getting a lot of interest lately is medications. And while medications are very good for different ailments, we need to make sure that, particularly with a lot of different medications, you're not taking something that could negatively impact on your driving. So
there has been a lot more in the news about that lately,
absolutely.
That's true.
Sometimes it's making sure when you take your medications or in combination with other medications that you're getting the benefit without the serious side effects.
Understood, absolutely. And just to go back to the night driving for just a minute, I can't tell you how many older folks have said to me, well, I don't drive at night. I don't drive at night. And I don't always ask them why, but I'm assuming that that's probably why, that they've noticed that vision change and it's more difficult for them to drive at night. And so
I think that's one of the first things as we age, that people start to cut back on is the nighttime driving. And particularly if it's nighttime and raining or snowing, a lot of times the visibility is just too hard to see, as well as glare recovery from the traffic lights.
Sure. Okay. Just a reminder to everyone watching, or maybe you just joined us, this is a live web chat. I'm Tim Bartos. This is my guest, Donna. Donna, yes. Donna, it's a Monday, folks. Please forgive me. Donna Stressel from Sunnyview Hospital, and we're talking about car fit. We'd love to hear from you. Email us at chat@cbs6albany.com or send us a question or comment through the CBS6 Facebook page. In the meantime, I have another question for you. What happens at a car fit event?
A lot of fun. We usually have people schedule an appointment. So we have trained technicians that are there to meet with an individual in their own car. So you arrive, and we'd like to have scheduled appointments, but we really don't want to turn anyone away who just shows up.
Somebody shows up.
But that way we can plan and keep a safe event. So when you arrive, we put you to an area where each driver has a team of 2 trained technicians. And then they go through the checklist, the 12-point checklist, to make sure you have the safest fit. So one of the first things we will check is the seatbelt. Is somebody wearing a seatbelt, and are they wearing it correctly?
Properly, right.
Yeah, we want to make sure that it's coming across the collarbone and low and tight on the hips. Those are the areas where, in the event of a crash, that's going to be able to absorb the forces,
the impact, right.
Yes, better. And if it's not fitting properly, most seat belts can be adjusted off of the B-pillar, the adjustment right here. But a lot of people don't know.
Well, I was just saying, a lot of people don't know that. That's right. I was thinking that myself, that, I do know that, but I'd forgotten. So as you were mentioning that, that's right, that's right.
And again, for shorter people, one of the things that we find is if they don't wear the seatbelt, almost always the reason why they're not wearing it is because it's not comfortable. So if it's coming across your neck or not fitting you well, there's a tendency to want to tuck it under an arm or put it behind you. And
it's not effective
that is not only not effective, but now you have to worry about airbag. And so if we can make that seatbelt comfortable by an adjustment,
people will be more likely to wear it.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see where somebody would not want to put it on and like, oh, I'm only going to go 2 miles, I'll be okay. But
and I always tell people, the old most crashes happen within 2 miles of your home.
I was thinking that. That's right. I was thinking that. That's right. Most crashes happen within 2 miles of your home. Absolutely.
Now, if we can't get an item adjusted properly with just the features on the car, the adjustments on the car, then we kind of call it a red flag item. So then that's where the OT would get involved, and we have gadgets that we might be able to use to make it more comfortable. And I brought a few of those with me.
Oh, let's see what you got.
One of the things that you might see is a pad that slips right over the seatbelt. And if it's rubbing on your neck, this is a lot softer. But sometimes just the fabric itself will help keep it in place so that it doesn't slide.
Very
and
nice.
These are, just Velcro right onto the seatbelt.
Very nice. I can see that. Yeah, just Velcro here. You can probably hear that or see it anyway, right? And it just goes right onto the seatbelt.
Yep.
Very nice.
So that's a real easy way to do that.
I like it.
The other thing that I find is sometimes people have had pacemakers implanted or chemo ports or another device where that seatbelt, it's implanted into the chest and that seatbelt rubs
right
across
on that.
there. So this again is another add-on. It can just Velcro right on, and you can see there's a little bit of a cutout.
Little cutout.
So that it fits over the device.
Sure.
And it doesn't rub.
Velcro. Whoa,
that's
Velcro
okay.
again. All right, I dropped something, but anyway. And that would go right here.
It would fit over you, depending, and that could be passenger side or driver's side, because depending on where the device is installed, you would have problems with that side of the seatbelt.
Very nice.
So that, again, can be used for somebody, whether they're the driver or the passenger, to make that seatbelt feel comfortable, because There are some people that I've seen who have had medical exclusions for not wearing seatbelts.
Right.
And there's really, I can't think of really a good reason why you wouldn't want to wear a seatbelt, because in the event of a crash, again, being ejected or having your
they've
head,
been proven to save lives, right.
sit in there. So seatbelt is the first thing that we would go over on the checklist.
And I got to believe a lot of folks, I didn't know this one existed. A lot of folks do not know this. So.
No, and a lot of people who in the medical community who may be working with folks, at cardiac practices might not be aware of the devices here.
Sure.
And they'll be asking their physicians, will you write a letter so I don't have to wear a seatbelt, where this would allow you to do that.
Absolutely. I like that.
So,